legacy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins. Today we're going to be talking about organ donor, and something that we've all known about for a long time. We're going to go at it with a little different twist than we have in the past. Got a couple of guests I want you to meet. Be right back. Get you a pen. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. This is Ken Rollins. Today we're going to be talking with a couple of guests. We're going to be talking about a program that's going on at Montford Middle School, and it's about organ donors. I'm going to learn as we go because I'm just going to let the show play out because I've got a lot of questions and I don't have a lot of answers, but I think I know where we're going to go with this. Today's guest is Jacob Shears. Jacob, welcome to the show, man. Look at that. He knows how to do that. You'll do it one more time. That's the way they do it down in Montford, ain't it? And
Hi.
This is Leah Watts, and you're a teacher in the middle school.
I am.
You're a civics teacher and geography?
Geography.
Wow. As they say in geography, J-O-G, geography, not
Geography.
geography.
No, it's geography.
Geography, you run it. All right. We got a program that we're talking about is organ donor. Who wants to tell me how it got started with what you are doing now? And we'll go on later to the governors and all that stuff. But
Right.
what's different with what you're doing, what's already been out there over the years?
Well, a few months ago, well, it's been several months ago now, we have a student named Angeline Luckadoo. She is 14 and she's actually at the high school this year. But she had cystic fibrosis. She found out she had it when she was 2. And steadily her lungs have gotten worse and worse and worse. And even when she was 6, she lost one of her lungs. They had to take it out completely. So she's been living on one lung. Well, now, a few months ago, the doctors decided it was in her best interest to take out half the good lung. So it didn't work at all. It didn't do what she needed it to do. So she was put on ECMO, which is a life-saving.
Okay.
It's almost
Life
like
support.
dialysis, but it cleans your blood like for your lungs. So she needed a transplant and she needed it quick, and it was because and her heart was in the wrong place because she had been living without the lung, and so like her heart was moved. So she would end up having to have a block, which is a heart and a double lung. Well, a young lady named Courtney Haynes Harris, she was born with hydrocephalus, and she was down here visiting her parents in Hoover, and her shunt malfunctioned, and so she passed away. And Angeline got her heart and her lungs, and we're thankful to Courtney every day and her family for giving that gift to us. But Angeline waited a long time, and the more we got to looking at it, the more we saw people are waiting too long for organs. Only 1% of all organ donors can actually give their organs because of how they die. If they die, if it's not actual brain death, then it's not. You're not able to give your organs. So we need more, and we kind of got together and the teachers talked about it and our administration talked about it, and this was born. We saw that there was a Uniform Anatomical Gift Act, which was really hard for our kids to say, much less to know what it means. Mm-hmm. And so we got to thinking, what if we changed it? What if we made it Angeline and Courtney's Law and made it kind of like the Amber Alert? When you hear Angeline and Courtney, you thought organ donation. And it's kind of transpired from there. It's changed depending on what we could do and what we couldn't do. And our students have been amazing. Jacob's here representing our student body, and they have bought in tremendously, and they've learned a lot, and they're changing lives, and that's, how many middle schoolers can say that,
What are you doing, Jacob, and what's your part? What are you doing?
Well, I think as personally for the student body, when we started this, or before we started this, we always thought a heart was just like a little emoji that you have on your driver's license. after going through all this with Courtney and Angeline and seeing that if you're an organ donor, you can be personally a real life hero, we see that a heart is something that's like a cape. When you see a heart, you see that you can save someone. And in our student body, it was very personal because Angeline, we all know her personally, and what was really amazing was how our student body bought into this. When we heard she was going to be able to go into the surgery to get a transplant, 2 of our 8th graders, Jeremiah Tipton and Xavier and Britt, they got everybody together and we went out and prayed in the hallways. And the teachers didn't, and by the time the teachers had gotten out to help to see what was going on, we had already prayed. That's how much
You can't unpray. Can you?
That's how much we had bought into this. Was we were there for almost every step of the way. We were always wanting to know what was happening, if she was doing all right, and just basically the student body has been there like as a safety net. Like we've been there to help with what our teachers don't know. We help them with what we don't know. Our teachers help us. We've all been there, and it's all for one simple reason. All because Angeline and Courtney is the hero that we all want to be.
All heroes don't wear capes. Y'all were heroes. But you know what? My daughter, the Supreme Court says you can't pray in school, And I told her, I said, no. You can pray in school. You don't have to jump up on the table to pray. Prayer is between you and God, and that's what y'all did. Y'all just took it up on you. You ain't worried about no Supreme Court. You just went out there and prayed and did the right thing. I'm so proud to hear somebody.
It was awesome to go. I mean,
it doesn't break any laws when they do it.
When they do it, and they walked out on their own, and that was
every prayer needed. That was it.
I just watched with tears flowing down my face because it was such a bold statement by 12 and 13 and 14
stop it before you
year-olds.
make me cry.
Okay.
I don't want them in the control room to see me doing that. They think I'm tough. The one giggling in my ear right now. But let me ask you this. What is the youngest age somebody can make a decision? You're in the 7th grade?
6th.
6th grade? How old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
So he can't make a decision to be a donor yet.
He can. He can actually go online and register to be a donor as long as his parents.
That's what I'm thinking.
As long as his parents say, he needs to talk to him, and tell him that's his wishes. And that's one good thing about this is we're opening up communication between, the kids and their parents. My little boy, on the way home the other day, he was like, "Mama, can I be an organ donor?" I mean, that's a scary thing to talk about. I mean, it's,
I don't know if you know, we lost an officer here, Justin Solahub, and Justin donated his organ. A lot of people alive today because of Justin Solahub. And when the Pasadena had their parade, they got to put his picture on a float. And my daughter and I was out there with his mom and them. They put them last seeds in there making up his picture. It's an awesome deal. I got to think about, what great tribute could somebody have to, but the irony is at 12 he can be a donor,
right?
But he has to get permission. But somebody that wants to have an abortion, they don't have to have their parent. It is something wrong with this. So y'all down there working on the laws. I've got two laws here that you have brought, and I can't show them to the people, but it's. This is for urging the Department of Education to create and implement a program, and then the other one is ALEA. It's two programs, 2 people you're wanting through the law enforcement. You're wanting to do that. Who wants to tell me about that?
Well, which one you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the education and the.
Well, we're going to have to go. We're going to have to go to commercial. We have to pay for this stuff. I mean, they tell me 15 seconds. You can't do it in 15 seconds, can you? Now we ain't got 15 seconds. We're going to get about 4. We're going to go to a break, come back. We got more. It's a good subject. Jump in, be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We're talking with Leah Watts and Jacob Shears, and we're talking about, they're with Munford Middle School, and we're talking about the organ donor program, and we want to, Leah, we were talking about, as we left, I forgot where we were, but bottom line is, we was talking about, I know one time, they can give at 12 years old if they have their permission of the parents. Now the other thing is with the law enforcement. We didn't talk about that.
Well, the thing with that is, right now when you go in to renew your license, you know, it's just a little box that you check. You know, I want to be an organ donor. But, you know, I mean, that's just so informal for such a powerful thing. So what, with Representative Mike Hubbard gave us some recommendations for how we wanted to proceed with this, and he recommended getting Aaliyah involved. And so the bill that we're trying to pass would make all driver's license offices have a video that several students from Mumford Middle School would produce, which would be awesome. It'd be all over the state. And Alabama Organ Center, who is partnering with us, would give literature. And that way, while people are waiting, because you know the driver's license lines are always pretty long, while people are waiting, they can clear up misconceptions on the videos. You know, anything they may, a lot of people say that you can't have an open casket when you give your organs.
That's the one thing we're going to talk.
That's not the case. You can. A lot of people think that doctors won't try to save you. Again, not the case. You know,
You're taking all my good stuff, my good questions.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm a teacher. I do that kind of
That's
stuff. So our goal is to raise awareness, and we want it to be so much more than a little box that you check, or you may or may not check. We want to have Angeline and Courtney's picture up there, you know, because it would be called the Angeline and Courtney Law that would make the Aaliyah, you know, enforce this. We don't want it to be a one-time thing. We want it to be all the time. This is something that continues on throughout the years, so that when they get their driver's license in 3 or 4 years, they may see that video they helped produce.
That's going to be, you're standing there in the office and you're in a line, and you're going to, before you step up there to say, I want to get my license or renew my license, you're going to be required to watch this, or is it going to be playing?
It'll be looping continuously.
Okay.
So when you're just sitting there, you know, bored, you know, you might watch the video instead of play on your phone.
Would you do it in hospitals too, maybe?
I hope so. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because you were so bored sitting there watching stuff. But the thing that you said about the open casket thing, that's not anything bothering me, but I know that back in the day, and I'm some years old, we thought that, well, if you're going to be an organ donor, they might not try to work as hard to try to save you. And that's just an old widow's
It's an
tale.
old tale that is completely false.
Yeah.
Completely false. I mean, are you scared of that anymore? That people might not try to save you?
No, because after all the research that we've done, we found out that most of those things that you hear and that people are afraid of, they're all myths. They're just something that have been out there over the years because people, they want attention, so they're going to make up anything they can to get their attention that they want. Most of the one thing, like an open casket, that's not true. You can have an open casket. The doctors will save you. That's why they have their doctor's degree. They're going to try to save you. And that's really that's really one of the big things that we did in 6th grade is we cleared up a lot of the misconceptions and myths. We sorted the myths out from the facts, and that's just one thing that I really liked about this project.
You got that down. Are you going to be a donor?
Yes, sir.
Great. That's awesome. Have you talked to anybody else into it?
I'm pretty sure the whole school's been talked into it because because we see through this that when you were little, admit it, didn't you always want to just be a superhero? Now, through this, after you see what Courtney's done for Angeline, you can be that hero that you've always wanted to be. And I'm pretty sure the whole Mumford community has been convinced, if they're not already organ donors, to be organ donors. And it's just an amazing, powerful thing that we've all went through, and it's all changed us tremendously by showing us that it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter how small you are.
Absolutely.
You can you have the heart to be the hero that you've always wanted to be.
You're taking me to church. That was. Have you talked to any of your family members about this?
I've talked to my mom and my dad.
You think we ought to bring them over and put them on TV over here and ask them, put them on the spot? No, I'm just kidding you. You know, but that was one of the things. Let me ask you this for Jacob. Have you heard anybody, older people, say, "Well, my organs ain't no good. mine done wore out. Have you heard that? They wouldn't want my organs. They just wore out.
I'm pretty sure people have said that, but I've never heard them say it personally. But if they
If you ask me, that's what I tell you.
But you don't know that. You
I
don't
know it, but that's what I used all these
Yes.
years. I say, ain't nobody want my organs. I wore them out.
No, they don't know until the doctor needs to decide that. And that's another thing we've learned through this. I mean, your heart may not be good, but your lungs might be. You know, your lungs may not be good, but your kidneys might be. And people need everything.
I know about eyes and things like that people say, oh my goodness. Could you imagine, and I said it to Jake, it just the idea that I can change somebody's life, somebody that might not could get to see their sister become prom queen, or might not get to see somebody go into the Army or the Marine Corps, something that they might just miss out on, and you can still donate an organ and still live. I mean, you
Yes.
don't have to, you know. My preacher was talking about looking for tickets to the Masters golf game. He said, I got two good kidneys, and he was talking about he got two kidneys to stand around. But I told him, okay, well, we'll meet you in UAB, and you give me one of them, and I'll get you master tickets. And he didn't reply, but he was talking about a different thing. But this is such a serious thing to see young people like Jacob, and I imagine there's some others down there. That how many of y'all are in this your class? Is it your entire class or the school or?
It's the whole school. The whole school is involved in this, but there's many kids that have taken it more to heart than I think some of the other ones. And so the kids that have taken it to heart, and they're the ones that understand it more, and they know what it's about and everything. They're going to be the ones that we're the ones that get to help make.
Well, we're running out of time. I got a minute, but I need to make sure that the guy that called me about this was Representative Steve Hurst, and you've been to Hubbard, and Dale Marsh is supporting it, as I understand.
Yes.
And so is the governor.
Yes.
We've got that in behind you. So everybody that how can they can call and say we want you to support what? What's it called?
Angelina and Courtney's law. That's what the organ transplant law. That's our bill that's going through right now. The committee passed it through. One of the House committees that Randy Wood sponsors is the chairman. He passed it through a couple of Wednesdays ago, and now we're just waiting on it to come to the floor of the House to vote. Can I say one thing real quick? Make sure that if you're an organ donor, you talk to your family and let them know your wishes, because another thing that we've learned is doctors will not go against a grieving family.
Absolutely.
So you have to tell your family your wishes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Good luck with it.
Thanks.
We've got to go to pause for the break. Come back. I got news that you can use. Stay where you are. Thank you for coming back with us here for Veterans Issues, and I appreciate Leah Watts and Jacob Shears for coming in and doing the show today on this the organ donor thing. Think about that. This is very serious, and like Leah said, is make sure that your family is aware. Just don't go out and say I want to be an organ donor. Make sure the immediate family is aware that you want to do this, because I've personally been in that situation where one of the first things they do before they take somebody off of life support, they want to know if you're an organ donor and that kind of thing. And we never know what tomorrow brings, and you need to be ready for that. So what a great gift that you can do to give somebody life. And as Jacob said, you know, all heroes don't wear capes, and I'm really proud of what they're doing at Munford Middle School. I need to go down there and see what's going on, because they sound like they're an awesome bunch of young people. Remember that the parking deck is open over there in the women's clinic, the new women's clinic over at the VA Hospital at 2415 7th Avenue South, 2415 7th Avenue South. And my guest finally is on the books. He's the director of the VA, him and Mr. Smith, the director of the Birmingham VA, and Jeff Hester, the public affairs officer, will be down here in the middle of this month. So if you got any questions for the director, let me know. As long as they're civil, I'll be glad to ask him about them. And we'll talk about the choice program and some other things going on there. Now, this law enforcement tag, I want to encourage you to if you're renewing your tags, it's a good time to purchase that tag, because the revenue from the tag will help build our law enforcement memorial here in Anniston, and we're going to have it ready to unveil the middle of May on Law Enforcement Week. And the 13th is actually the day. I'll be telling you more about that. We're going to unveil it at noon on the 13th. And that's a result of the purchasing that law enforcement tag. So keep on doing that. I want you to remember the Kia stores that sponsors the show. The Kia stores in Anniston and Gadsden are owned by a Special Forces veteran. And don't forget to, I keep reminding you, 22 of our veterans are taking their lives every day. Every 24 hours we lose 22 veterans. So keep that in your prayers, and maybe we can do something to change that by getting jobs and things for them. If you've got the word veteran on your driver's license, Lowe's and Oxford will take it. I don't know how many other stores will take that for box stores, but I know that Lowe's will in Oxford. Now that's Senate Bill 287 is the one that we need to stop, folks. Senate Bill 287 by Tripp Pittman. House Bill 331 by Senator Klaus. That is the one that will put attachment on all the veterans funds that used to take care of Alabama veterans, and it mortgages our veterans' careers, and it's just going to wipe us out. And I need you to make a phone call and ask your representative to stop Senate Bill 287 and House Bill 331. That's the one that's using our Veterans Assistance Fund as collateral to build 4 prisons. And then once the prisons are built with that $80 million, they will continue. To get money to take care of our veterans, we have to go to the prison system to do that. That's just uncalled for. Need you to do that and call the governor's office on it. He's the one that's pushing that. And our state senator here, Dale Marsh, he can stop it also. So if you got a representative out there, senator, you call him. And this week's salute is going to go to everybody that's going to pick up the phone and call your legislature and beg them not to put prisoners before veterans. And that's exactly what this law is going to do. So I ask you to do that, and continue doing it, and let you know who voted for it when it's over with. We'll see you next week here on Veterans Issues. We're out of here.